2 minutes to bomb run. The crew sits in tense silence. No fighters. No flak. Just the steady drone of engines cutting through the morning sky. The bombardier peers through his sight. The city of Hiroshima lying quietly below, unaware of the storm about to descend. A mission that will change not just the course of a war, but the course of human history is about to unfold. The men aboard the Enola Gay do not yet fully grasp it. Neither do the people on the ground. But in less than a minute, the world will enter the atomic age, a new era where mankind holds the power not just to wage war, but to annihilate itself. The story begins years earlier. In 1942, Nazi Germany held much of Europe in its grip. Across the Atlantic, American and Allied scientists were racing against time, united by a single terrifying prospect, that Adolf Hitler might acquire the most destructive weapon ever imagined, a nuclear bomb. This effort became the Manhattan Project. Cloaked in secrecy, spread across laboratories and industrial plants from Tennessee to Washington state, its beating heart lay in Los Alamos, New Mexico. There, high in the desert, the brightest scientific minds of the age worked relentlessly, creating a device that could unleash the hidden energy of the atom. By 1945, after years of sleepless nights and unrelenting experimentation, they succeeded. On July 16th, in a barren stretch of desert called the Jornada del Muerto, they tested their creation. At dawn, the sky turned to fire. A man-made sun blazed over the desert floor. The ground shook. The light burned shadows into the sand. It was the birth of the nuclear age. The device was nicknamed the Gadget. Its blast yielded roughly 21 kilotons of TNT. In that instant, centuries of warfare changed forever. Humanity had split the atom, and in doing so, it had split its own destiny. President Harry Truman, in Potsdam for talks with Churchill and Stalin, received the news in coded language. The experiment has been successful beyond expectations. Suddenly, Truman knew he commanded a weapon of unimaginable power. At the conference table, he hinted at this new force, speaking vaguely of a weapon of unusual destructive force. Stalin, who already knew of the project through espionage, merely nodded. Soon after, the Allies issued the Potsdam Declaration. Japan must surrender unconditionally, or face prompt and utter destruction. In Tokyo, the leadership wavered. Some sought peace. Others clung to pride and delusion, hoping the Soviet Union might mediate. Their silence sealed their fate. By late July, the machinery was set in motion. General Karl Spaatz received orders to use the atomic bomb as soon after. August 3rd, as weather allowed. 4 targets were chosen: Hiroshima, Kokura, Niigata, and Nagasaki. Kyoto, once considered, was spared, deemed too precious a cultural and academic heart of Japan to destroy. Tokyo, already in ruins from firebombing, was rejected. Hiroshima remained, mostly untouched, a city of military significance and civilian life, perfect for demonstrating the bomb's devastating effect. August 6, 1945, at 2:45 a.m., from the island of Tinian, the silver B-29 superfortress Enola Gay thundered down the runway. At its core lay Little Boy, a uranium bomb weighing nearly 5 tons. 2 escort planes followed, the Great Artiste to measure the blast, and Necessary Evil to photograph the mission. Little Boy's design was terrifyingly simple: a uranium projectile, fired into a uranium target, creating a chain reaction that unleashed energy equivalent to 15,000 tons of TNT. After a 6-hour flight, they reached the Japanese mainland. Weather planes had already confirmed Hiroshima's skies were clear. The city's fate was sealed. At 7:09 a.m., Japanese radar spotted the American planes. Air raid sirens wailed, but with only 3 aircraft detected, officials assumed it was reconnaissance, not an attack. The warning was lifted. Life returned to normal. At 8:15 a.m., Major Thomas Farabee released the bomb. It fell silently for 43 seconds, slicing through the morning air. At 600 meters above the ground, it detonated. In less than a heartbeat, the sky became brighter than the sun. A blinding white flash seared eyes, burned skin, and cast eerie permanent shadows of people onto walls and sidewalks. A fireball, 200 meters wide, erupted with temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun. Within a radius of 1 mile, nearly every structure was obliterated. Wooden homes burst into flames. Concrete buildings crumbled. Human beings vaporized where they stood. Shockwaves tore outward, flattening the city. Windows shattered 4 miles away. Fires merged into a firestorm, consuming everything left standing. 70,000 people died instantly. By year's end, more than 140,000 were gone, victims of burns, injuries, and radiation poisoning. Survivors, the hibakusha, carried scars that never healed, their bodies marked by burns, their lives shadowed by illness. Hiroshima had become the first city in human history destroyed by atomic fire. That very day, Truman addressed the world. If they do not accept our terms, they may expect a rain of ruin from the air, the like of which has never been seen on this earth. Yet Japan did not surrender. Leaders argued. Some doubted a single bomb had destroyed an entire city. Others clung to the hope that fighting on would win better peace terms. And so, preparations began for a second strike. 3 days later, August 9th, another crew, another B-29, this one named Bockscar, took off from Tinian. On board was Fat Man, a plutonium implosion bomb, far more advanced and powerful than Little Boy. The mission faced trouble from the start. A fuel pump failure, rendezvous delays, Japanese defenses growing alert. Their primary target, Kakura, was obscured by smoke and cloud. 3 bombing runs failed. Anti-aircraft fire grew more accurate. The crew, low on fuel, turned to their secondary target, Nagasaki. At 11:02 a.m., a brief break in the clouds revealed the city. The bombardiers seized the chance and released. Fat Man, the bomb exploded at 500 meters above the city. Its yield, about 21 kilotons. A searing flash, an expanding fireball, a crushing shockwave. The Urakami Valley, filled with homes, factories, and a cathedral, was obliterated. Within a mile radius, reinforced buildings crumbled. Fires spread uncontrollably. Tens of thousands perished in minutes. By the end of 1945, between 60,000 and 80,000 people had died. For Nagasaki, it was Kakura's misfortune that spared them, and Kakura's luck that doomed another city. The same night, the Soviet Union declared war on Japan, invading Manchuria with overwhelming force. Now Japan faced annihilation from 2 sides. Atomic fire from the sky and a Red Army on the ground. At last, Emperor Hirohito intervened. In a radio broadcast, he told his people they must endure the unendurable. Japan would surrender. On September 2, 1945, aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay, Japanese officials signed the instrument of surrender. World War II was over. Hiroshima and Nagasaki remained the only times nuclear weapons were used in war. In 2 blinding flashes, more than 200,000 lives were ended. Generations carried scars, both physical and emotional. 80 years later, the world still lives under the shadow of that mushroom cloud. Nuclear arsenals remain powerful enough to destroy civilization many times over. Yet Hiroshima and Nagasaki endure as warnings. Their silence speaks louder than words. The hope remains that these cities mark both the beginning and the end of mankind's use of atomic weapons. In the span of a few days, humanity crossed a threshold from which it can never retreat. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were not only the final chapter of World War II, but the opening chapter of a new, uncertain age. 2 minutes to bomb run. Engines hum. A city lies below, alive with ordinary life. And then light brighter than the sun, silence, shadows, the last bomb. They called it. But the question lingers still, was it truly the last? If you found this story powerful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others so history is never forgotten.